Welcome to another episode of the Persuasion Pitch. Before we get into it, I do want to give a huge shout out to a podcast supporter named Lori. Thank you so much. I truly, truly appreciate it. Let's get into it. So I'm here with Savy. She is the creator of, she has the YouTube channel Savy Writes Books, and she's also an author. She's very knowledgeable on all things MLM and very, very knowledgeable, more so than I am, on individuals who are, gurus in the in the MLM community, because people actually pay for, to go to the conventions, and they have speakers there, and then people buy books from these people, and, all of that, type of thing. So I'm so glad to have you on, Savy.
Absolutely. Thanks for inviting me to be on your podcast. I always am happy to collaborate in any way.
Yeah, I'm so excited about it. So I always say savvy is savvy. I think I've told you that like a few times because you are so savvy.
I'm glad. Yeah, I like the pun. I think it's funny. That's why I named my book Savvy Business Owner.
Right.
Yeah.
And Savvy is, as well as I am, all about supporting small businesses.
Absolutely.
So, she's like, hello, that's her thing. I can hear it. Hello, my fellow small business owners. So she has so much enthusiasm behind it.
Thank you.
Her true personality shines through. So, when did you become involved in the Anti-Mlm movement?
So I think there were two significant events that got me involved in it. There was like the first event that got me like aware that this community existed and like of the concept of MLMs. And then there was like a second thing that made me like invested in wanting to create content for it. So the first thing was, and I actually did a storytime video about this on my YouTube channel. When I was a senior in college, I was applying for jobs and I accidentally went to an MLM interview. Because it was not presented as an MLM. It was, I think, either one of the Smart Circle or Sidcore company branches that had been like branched off again and again. You know how that works. So I think it was one of those, and it was not presented like the job listings that it had were completely lying. Like it didn't say at all that you were going to be doing direct sales or anything like that. And so I wasted time going to this job interview, and even at the interview they still didn't tell me it was going to be direct sales. They were still kind of lying to me about what it was. And then I went on Glassdoor and read reviews, and I was like, oh my god, this is like a not quite a pyramid scheme, but like in that realm. It's like an MLM type company in disguise, and that's so shady. So I started reading like a bunch of people's like testimonies of having worked at this kind of company in the past. And then from there, I found that these companies operate in sort of a similar structure to a company like Beachbody or Mary Kay or those type of companies. And then I started reading about how those companies work and all these horror stories people had of losing money in them. And I was like, oh my God, I really dodged a bullet by turning down this job.
You really did. Yeah.
So that was when I first like learned that this community existed. And then later I found that there was a subreddit and stuff like that. And then when I started my own small business called Forever Home Friends, when I first started that business, the main way that I made money before the pandemic was going to craft fairs and conventions and street festivals and things like that, and selling my books and my plushies and my art and things like that there. And I would notice that a lot of these fairs were starting to get overrun with these MLM companies, which I recognized from the research I'd done after not taking that terrible job opportunity. So I started recognizing these companies and being like, okay, this seems wrong, because this is supposed to be either like a small business expo where different small business owners can meet each other and customers come in, or it's like a craft fair where customers are coming to look for new products. And so it's like when the craft fair gets overrun by mass produced products or by people trying to get people to join their downline and things like that, it starts to drive away the customers, which hurts all of the actual crafters who are trying to get their own products out there. So that was kind of when it snapped for me. And I did a long post on Reddit about about the Usborne children's book company, which is books MLM. So because my business produces books, and I've had too many craft fairs where they let an Usborne rep in And I was like, this isn't cool that like I'm an author and they want to put someone who didn't write those books, had no hand in creating them, and is just reselling them in an MLM. Like that didn't seem right to me, because I'm like, that's not right. So I made a long rant on Reddit about it, and it got a lot of attention, and people actually were really supportive of me in the comments, and I was just like blown away by the support of that. And then from there I started finding people on YouTube. And at this time I had been, I don't know if I'd started my YouTube channel yet, I can't remember, but I was thinking of starting a YouTube channel to do book reviews and writing tips and things like that. But I was also, so deep in the small business world that it made sense to make some videos about this topic too, because I saw people like Monica and people like Recovering Hunbot and like Illuminati and like channels like that, where people were speaking out about these companies and going into their like what these companies are about and doing all this research. And I was like, oh, so there is an audience. There are people who are interested in hearing about this and spreading the word. And I was like, I can do this too. So I made my first anti-MLM video, I think in 2019, and it was about it was another rant about not wanting MLM companies at craft fairs, because that's what first got me into that. So I made that video and people were interested. And then from there, it kind of came together naturally, because I already had a book review channel. And as a business owner, a lot of the books that I would read would be books about how to grow your business, or books that helped give me a business education, because I never went to business school. So I would try to read as many books about business as I could. And I would keep getting really fed up that a lot of these books either pushed like toxic positivity mindsets, or pushed company, or like that some of the authors of these books had been affiliated with MLMs or had supported them, and it just seemed like disingenuous and kind of scammy to me. So I started reviewing books by people, by like business gurus and people who were trying to like scam entrepreneurs and things like that. So it all came together, and now I'm like really happy with the direction my channel's going. But that's where my whole involvement in the anti-MLM world came from. It was from wanting to spread the word, but also about my investment as a business owner and wanting to make sure that small businesses don't get scammed into these kind of companies.
Right. And like it's crazy you say that, because I did like a little bonus episode before you came on, just because I wanted and in the I wanted to say, I'm going to have Savy on next week, and in that video I talked about craft fairs, and like
Mhm.
my family, well, my sister, she owns a candle company with wax melts, and like if you go to a craft fair and somebody's selling Scentsy, or if you make jewelry, like good quality jewelry, then you have $5 jewelry from paparazzi next to you.
Exactly. That's the one I bring up, is
Mm.
like, it's not fair to like, especially because not every customer is going to know. They might see a paparazzi jewelry consultant and think that it's their own business and like, whoa, you're able to get all that made for $5. That's amazing. And
Right.
then they might buy it over someone who's making high quality handmade jewelry and
Right.
having to sell it for more. And that's just not right.
It's not right.
Yeah.
I think the root of this needs to be like, whoever organizes a craft fair, like multi-level marketing does not need to be able to, like, reps cannot get a booth. That's what I feel it
Yeah.
should be.
What I found is that a lot of craft fair organizers don't really know much about the MLM or anti-MLM world, because I signed up for this craft fair, and I was there, like they had like an author section, which I thought was cool. That's why I did this one, and it was a fantastic fair. I loved it. So I was like one of the authors, like featured authors there, and it was great.
Right.
And then when I signed up, the organizer told me that she'd found my YouTube channel, and she was like, I think there had been like 3 MLM reps at this craft fair, which isn't bad considering there were like 70 vendors. So it was like the proportion was fine. But she was like, I had these 3 MLM companies at this fair until I saw your videos. I didn't even know that these companies were so shady. Next year I won't do that. And I was like,
That's
awesome. I'm
great.
glad it helped
Great.
educate someone in
Yeah.
the craft fair world. Of course, there was no next year because then the pandemic happened. But either way, I'm
Or
glad that
either
it
way, like
helped.
she still knows. And
Yeah, now she knows. Yeah.
in your channel, I have seen your channel grow like tremendously. Like just in like not even like that long of a time. I was like, okay, she's almost at 10,000. I'm like, oh, whoa, look at her. So I mean, that's amazing. That's
Thank you.
absolutely
Yeah, YouTube is a slow growing journey. I
amazing.
think a lot of times people don't realize how much time and work goes in before any traction happens.
Right. Right.
But yeah, I spent a whole year making like 2 to 3 videos a week
Wow.
without my channel being monetized, like before I even hit 1,000 subscribers. I did that for like a whole year. And then at the start of 2020, I finally was able to monetize it, and then it helped it grow from there. So it's really like, it's a lot of work on the front end.
It is a lot of work. Editing. Oh gosh, editing. Ugh. Yeah.
I love editing videos though. That's the thing, is I've always been
Hate it.
someone, like, I used to direct films in college and things like that. So
Oh
I've
yeah,
always,
because we talked about this. Yeah. So I
yeah,
was.
because you do makeup artistry.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. And so Savvy has and I looked at it today, a playlist of a few podcasts she did where it's just like a background, and I was a guest on that.
Yeah.
And that was a good time. So
That was really fun. I loved that. That was a fun conversation.
yes, it was. It was. So okay, so for those of you who do not know, Savvy has dug very, very deep into Rachel Hollis.
Oh man, I probably
Aw,
should, like, I don't want to
your
dig too
best
deep
friend.
into just one person.
I
I don't
know.
want it to be like creepy.
No, she's also done, she did a collaboration with Monica. I've talked about her before on the podcast. Monica Hayworth, she's now that on YouTube, and they did a collaboration with Tony Robbins. Oh, I don't know how you got through.
Dude, I hate Tony Robbins. Yeah, I think Monica and I are going to do another video on him, and I just got a book. I've started like trying to buy, like, when people send me business guru books to review, it's great, but I don't want to give these business gurus my money, so I've started looking for them at used bookstores. So I just got from a used bookstore, I got a Tony Robbins book about 7 simple steps to financial freedom, which cannot be that simple because this book is like almost 700 pages long. So it's like, geez, Tony. So I'm going to read that and review it. But yeah.
No, I could not read that.
It's too long.
Ooh, I can't even watch like pro MLM stuff. I'm like, oh gosh, now just stop.
It's hard to get through because it's like, oh my God, this is all so wrong. But it's easy to like take, like, it's good for taking notes and being like, okay, I want to make these points here and here. Yeah.
Yeah. And I do mention Rachel Hollis because it's like, and I showed you a screenshot. I saw a TikTok. I came across a TikTok video, and it was about Rachel Hollis, and then it had you in the background. Your YouTube.
That is hilarious.
I know.
Yeah, I just did a big review of the Rise conference that she puts on because I know not a ton of people, but I mean, actually some people in the writing communities that I'm a part of have gone to that conference thinking it's gonna like help them with goal setting and stuff like that, and with, growing their business. But in reality, it's just kind of a lot of positive thinking fluff, and it's really overpriced. And so I interviewed a couple people and I did a big review of that. That was fun.
Yeah. And also, since you're an author, and I did look into Rachel Hollis, like her plagiarizing, which is
that was a big thing. I think that was, so originally I didn't mean to ever delve that deep into her. I just like, I reviewed the book Girl Wash Your Face on my channel before I even started making anti-MLM videos. I just reviewed it because it was a book that I read and thought was bad, and I wanted to make a lot of jokes about it. So I reviewed it, and that review got bigger because a lot of people were like, I guess it was one of the first negative review videos of the book that came out. Most review videos of the book were very positive. Mm-hmm. So a lot of people were like, oh my God, finally someone else who didn't like this book. Yeah. And so that was what helped my channel grow a little bit. And then when I watched a video by Kiki Chanel and saw in that video, she talked about how Rachel Hollis was both getting in trouble for plagiarism and for speaking at the Beachbody conference. And I was like, whoa. Right. So someone whose book I reviewed in the past that I didn't like is now also like violating all the author ethics and the business ethics. There's no way I can't talk about this. So I had to immediately put down my phone and was like, all right, turn on the camera. Here we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
She's, oh man. Yeah. So I did not read her book. I guess I just don't, I don't care to.
Yeah.
I did hear some things about it. And also one of her newer books, she preached like all about multi-level marketing. And then one of her books, what did she say? She said something about don't spend money on a starter kit.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, it was basically, and I talked about this in the review videos I did. When I reviewed Girl Stop Apologizing, in that video, I talked about all the places where she basically, you know, talked about multi-level marketing being a good place to earn a side income, and like addressing it as if it's like a totally normal and good way to make money. And this was around the time she was also speaking at like Beachbody conferences and things like that. And then her next book that came out that I reviewed a couple months ago had a line in there where it was like, if you need to make money right now, don't spend money on a starter kit, don't be dumb. And it was like, okay, look, if you've changed your mind about MLMs, I'm going to appreciate that, and I will be happy you're open-minded. However, don't, like, maybe apologize to all the people that you encouraged to stay in them the first time. Don't act like you didn't encourage this, you know?
Right. Yeah, I saw that like a lot of people were like MLM reps were like, what the heck, you know? But
yeah, MLM reps were mad, which, like, I guess that's interesting because it's like they're more loyal to their MLM than they are to her advice. You never know when people are in like two different groups that have like cult elements to them. It's always interesting when those conflict. Which side will they choose?
Right. Yeah, they're gonna choose the MLM.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, I mean, so yeah, we answered that question. So, and then like with MLMs affecting you, like at craft fairs and things like that, and you have to be careful because those. What was the books because I can't pronounce it right.
The book company.
Yeah.
Usborne.
Yeah, Usborne. I don't know why I want to say Usborne or something like
that. I don't know. I mean, I assume, yeah.
Those are in Barnes and Noble, as someone said.
Yeah, so the books are, what's interesting about this company is the whole company isn't an MLM. It has like an MLM branch and then like a regular publishing branch.
Right.
And the regular publishing branch distributes books to Barnes and Noble and to, I mean, primarily to stores in like the UK and Canada and things like that, and also to like book fairs at schools and that kind of thing. Yeah. But the MLM side, I mean, the books are a lot of the same books. So in a lot of cases, if you're selling it for your MLM, people could also just go buy it at the bookstore, could also just go buy it on Amazon. So the company itself creates competition with its own reps, which is wild.
Right. Yeah, they have let's see, what is it? I think it's Beauty Counter. And also Beauty Counter is sold in Sephora. And
yeah, exactly.
So, but it's like they don't care. They're looking at that like, oh, you know, it's so great that they sell it here. So I don't know. I guess they're just using that as a selling point, but I don't know, whatever. So you have to be careful about that. Like, I don't even purchase products within a store that have an MLM branch because I know that like somewhere along the way it's supporting that. So I mean, it's tricky. You know, people have to know what to look for. So
yeah, it's hard. It's hard, definitely.
It is. So what books have you written thus far?
Okay, so currently I have 9 books out, and my 10th book is coming out in June, so that's exciting.
That is exciting.
Right now, I mean, my main thing that I do is Forever Home Friends. So for anyone who doesn't know, Forever Home Friends is my series of books and plushies and also some other toys and merch. And it's all based on real rescue dogs. It's kind of like if you had the American Girl brand, but instead of humans, they were dogs, and they were also based on true stories. Mm-hmm. So like every dog that I feature has like their own book and their own plushie, and also a toy that usually goes with them that I make on the 3D printer. And my mom designs the stuffed animals and like makes the sewing patterns for those, and then we get those produced. And then I write the books. I've illustrated some of the books, but not all of them. And then we get them printed by, well, actually I'm on the lookout for a new printer right now. I have an interview with one tomorrow, so let's see how that goes. But yeah, so I get those books printed and then create the toys and stuff, and I sell it all through my website. I also, before the pandemic, would sell it at craft fairs and that kind of thing. But now I sell it primarily online until events can happen again. So 5 of my books are in that series. They're picture books. And then I have 3 like YA type novels and 1 business self-help book, Savy Business Owner, that came out in September.
Amazing. And like the Forever Home Friends, like that, did you come up with that? Because that's so smart.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I came up with a few different names. I talked about them with my mom because we started this together in 2017. But yeah, I liked the pun with forever.
Yeah, I love that. I was telling my son on the way to drop him off at school this morning. I was like, I have a podcast. I've been doing a podcast with Savy, and she has these books. It's called Forever, Fur, and I was telling him all about it. He's like, I know who Savy is. I saw her on Monica's channel.
That's hilarious. I love it. Social media is just bringing us all together.
Right. I know. I mean, he just turned 11. He's like, I know who Savy is. So.
Oh, cute. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, and also my sister, she helps, fosters, dogs. So I just love everything about that with the little stuff. Like, that's such a good idea. And the way that you and your mom can do that together, because it's like
yeah, it's great. I'm looking forward to coming up with a new character. We haven't released a new character. We didn't release one last year or this year. Because of the pandemic, and it's always a big upfront investment whenever I release a new character, because I have to get like a print run of books done. If I'm going to hire an artist, then I pay them also, and then I have to get the first like 200-ish stuffed animals made at a time, so I have to have at least a couple $1,000s to pay up front for that.
Right.
So I'm just kind of waiting until like the business account's a little more beefed up. I mean,
Right.
I feel like we did well with adapting this year, but it definitely, like, a lot of our big money events didn't happen.
Right. So any listeners, if you guys want to check out her books and everything with, the Forever Home Friends, is like business stuff, everything, what's your website that everyone can go to find everything Savy?
So my website for Forever Home Friends is foreverhomefriends.com. And that's, forever with FUR, like fur. So that's that website is where you can look at all the books in that series, all the plushies, all the toys, merch, t-shirts, other stuff like that. And then for like my novels and my channel merch and things like that, it's on savylizer.bigcartel.com. So like my name and then bigcartel.com.
All right. So speaking of the Anti-Mlm, I guess you would call them gurus.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some other ones? Okay, first of all, so people who are in an MLM, I guess they hear from like their upline or other people, like their whoever, other people in the company with them. Like, okay, well, you can be more successful if you, like read this book by so and so, or if you listen to whoever. And so people pay money, like, okay, so they're already paying to be in MLM. 99.7% of individuals are already losing money or making nothing at all, and the ones who are making it, and I say this all the time, are making it off the backs of people who are losing it. So on top of all of that, they are paying out even more money to hear these business quote gurus on how to work their business more, harder, better. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because I haven't really looked into them, like, as far as that goes. But so who are some other ones that you have looked into?
So I've done a few videos. I've done a decent number of videos on Grant Cardone, even though I need to do a few more now. Grant Cardone is wild. He has spoken at conventions for MLMs like the World Financial Group convention and a few of those. He's a fan of multi-level marketing. He, like, when people call into his show and ask him questions about it, he's very happy to tell them to stay in their business and how they can grow in it. But he's just like wild. Like, the stuff he says is so off the wall, like weird. And I think a lot of it comes from the fact that he's involved with Scientology.
I was just gonna say that. I don't know how I did not know this sooner, but yeah, he is involved with Scientology. Yep.
He is, yeah. So I did a video with that. I did a video about that with the Anti-Botchy, and I did a video about Grant Cardone's involvement with Scientology.
I'm horrible because I don't think I watched it, because whenever I talked to Monica about it, she's like, "Yeah, Savvy already said that."
Well, a lot of people, yeah, not everyone saw it.
So,
but yeah, so he's involved with Scientology, and I found him completely by accident. I didn't even know that he was going to be this type of person. I was like looking through the business, like, nonfiction section of the bookstore. I found this book called Be Obsessed or Be Average. And I was like, okay, I agree with that sentiment, right? Like, as a business owner, I'm passionate, I am obsessive, I'm a workaholic, and like, I'm okay with that. And I want to know how to utilize that strength, and what marketing techniques I can learn from that. And it's, from reading about this dude, Grant Cardone, it seems like he's a sales expert who's excellent at sales. All right, let's learn from him.
Right.
Then I start listening to the book on Audible. And the first thing that he does is give a 2-minute long dedication to his wife. And in the 2-minute dedication, all he does is like ramble about how he stalked her for almost 2 years and how proud he is of the fact that even though she didn't like him at all, he still continued to call her and chase her down for 13 months. And now she's the perfect woman for him.
That's
and I was like,
weird.
okay, I'm a little concerned now. And then the more I continued to listen to it, he just went on all these tangents about like how all the time psychologists or psychiatrists would tell him that he has a couple mental health issues, but he would just ignore them because he knows it's more important to be obsessed with your business than to be mentally healthy and stuff. I'm like, what are you talking about?
No, that's terrible advice.
He was like, yeah, I've been told I have OCD and ADHD, but I told the psychiatrist that it's just me being obsessed with my business and that's a good thing. I'm like, dude, no, I take medication for my OCD and I still focus on my business. Like, it's okay.
Yeah.
But then I learned later that the Scientology thing was part of the, like, they're against like psychological medication.
Oh, really? I did not know that. I did not.
Yeah, they're against like getting medication from psychiatrists and stuff like that because they don't like that it alters your brain or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know.
MLM tactics are very, very similar to Scientology in the same tactics they use. So it's really interesting to like look into that cult, mentality of it. It's so interesting to me.
So yeah, I've done a few videos on him because he's just like, he's so entertaining because he's like, he says such weird stuff and is like always at full energy, which is like, I guess that's interesting, but also the stuff he's saying is harmful. It's like not accurate at all.
So much
I would not recommend following him legitimately, especially since I did a whole video about him and his wife where he talked on this podcast about how much his wife was not interested in him when they first met and how much he just would not give up because that's what you need to do in sales. You just never give up. You always pursue the deal. So that's what he did with his wife. And I was like, dude, this is stalking. Like, you're advocating for stalking.
Right.
And I got men in the comments being like, no, I think their story's romantic. Sometimes women really want to be chased after. And I'm like, just be careful you don't end up in jail with that line of thinking, okay?
Stalking charge. That's crazy.
Oh my God. So it's like, no, so he actually is having like an influence on young men who seem to think it's okay to treat women the way he does. So Grant Cardone is actually a pretty scary person, but he does make for good video content.
Yeah, but that is so scary because like, okay, the world's already like a mess. So yeah, let's not like reach all these people and tell them that that's okay to do.
Right.
I hate that. I hate that people are listening to that. And oh gosh, I really hope like I hope that people will come across anti-MLM content and like in any way, shape, or form just to try to steer away from all of these, all of this horrible advice and what they're listening to. I think that's why it's so important to be an anti-MLM advocate. All right.
I've done like a few smaller videos on a few other gurus too. Like I've done a couple on Tony Robbins and I'm planning another on him.
Oh gosh. How y'all watch that thing?
Oh my God, his documentary. Oh my God, it was wild to get through.
I could not get I tried.
It was fun because I got to like Monica and I watch it together and reacted to it. So it was fun to like have someone to watch it with and comment on it.
I tried to watch it by myself and I was like, nope.
Yeah.
Fix it. Couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So who else is that the ones you've done so far? Or
there's a few others. I did one video on Marie Forleo. Okay. I don't know if I might do future ones on her. I don't have like that much to talk about with her other than like, well, I was going to talk about the fact that she spoke at Eric Worre's network marketing 7-day event or whatever, but I couldn't get into it without like using my real Facebook account. So it was like a whole mess. I tried to sign up under an alternate email so Eric Worre wouldn't flood my inbox to go to the event, but then the event was only available through joining a Facebook group. And I was like, well, now I'm not going to go make a fake Facebook account. Like, that's too much.
Girl, I would have, and I would have gave you the password.
Oh, yeah, I wish I knew. But yeah,
I'll make a sock account. I made a sock account to get into those road in the fields consultant only groups. So
that's true. Yeah.
Yep.
There was a point where I was like, also maybe I can go back to the group later and try to find them and find the videos, but then it was like, no, if you want to watch the replay, now you have to pay for that. So I was like, okay,
wow,
never mind. I'm just gonna like not do this. But I did do a different video on Marie Forleo, which was kind of a review of her very expensive B school online course based with like some reviews from people who felt that they really got nothing out of it. So we did one on that, and we also talked about her how mismanaged her Facebook group, which was like one of the benefits of her course. The Facebook group got very mismanaged and like, you know, censoring people and deleting people's posts, especially when people tried to talk about, you know, bigger world issues and how they were affecting their businesses. It was like, no, we can't talk about anything. Otherwise Marie's going to have to work on the weekend. And it's like, yeah, dude, when you're a business owner, you work on the weekend, like, get over it. So that we covered her a little bit. And then I did a few videos on this woman named Lindsay T Moreno, who was at the close to the very top of Young Living. And I read one of her books. I think I did like 3 videos on her. I did one where I was reacting to her speech at their conference, but she also wrote this book, like a business self-help book, and I read it with another one of my author friends, and we did a video together critiquing her book, because a lot of the advice, some of the advice she gives is good, but you don't want to apply it to like an MLM. And yeah, so I did a few things on her.
Yeah, I did an episode on Young Living and Gary Young. Oh gosh.
Gary Young is one of the scariest people. Like, he's a full-on cult leader, dude.
Oh, for real. Like,
yeah.
Like, look, I even saw it was some type of Young Living post where they were raffling off his old truck, and people were like paying for tickets for it or something, and it was like an older, like, I don't know, like a 2000 or I don't know, something, and people were like, oh, I would love to have his truck. Like, it was weird. I don't know, it was
that's weird,
strange. Yeah. So Eric Worre, he has a lot of tons of MLM reps that think that he's or something. So have you looked into him much?
Yeah, I did one video on him. It was reviewing one of his books. So he wrote a book called Go Pro, like 7 Steps to Network Marketing Success or something like that. So I reviewed that book of his, which was just terrible. It was so bad. But I did a video reviewing that book, and the book basically outlines exactly how you're supposed to badger and manipulate people into joining your company and stuff. So it's right there. It's in the advice they give the reps.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, he's
I don't like him at all. He's awful.
I've seen people at the top of MLMs like have photos with him, like, look at me, I'm taking a photo with Eric, like, you know, and everybody's like, oh my gosh, you're with Eric. Yeah, in fact, I actually read somewhere that he failed at a multi-level marketing company before he even started doing this. So why would you even try to take advice from him anyway? So,
well, I think he was part of a couple different ones. He like failed at his first one. I can't remember what they are now. They're all in the video that I did, but like he failed at the first one, and then I think he had some success in the second one, but it was also like in the 80s. So there was less saturation before social media got involved. So it's a whole different story. But basically, he eventually pivoted from, and this is where like the pyramid within the pyramid comes in, because he pivoted from actually selling products in an MLM to selling knowledge on how to sell products in an MLM, which is like selling knowledge on how to sell knowledge on how to recruit people to recruit people. Like, there's really no customer here, you know?
Right. So I don't know why. I don't know. Ugh. But anyway, besides that, I just hope that everyone will go to the YouTube channel Savy Writes Books, and actually I'll leave a link in the description of this episode. because I'm telling you guys, Savy does lives a lot, and I try to make it to all of those. But she, like, if you want to know about any of these gurus and legitimate small businesses, and like all of her ventures with her legitimate small businesses, I highly suggest that you guys check it out. Follow her on Instagram, the whole thing. So
Thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I mean, is there anything else you want to say?
I don't know. It's just great to talk to you and great to talk about these things. I'm working on a bunch of new.
Savy, you guys. I do. I love Savy.
Thank you.
Awesome. Her style, she's got swag. Okay, I'm telling you, like, she has like these. Oh, she's just vibrant and colorful, and like she has like a shirt with like little puppy dogs on it. I don't know. She's just so cute. You guys have to look at their videos and see, like, it's like she has like this style. Like, if I see something like that's something Savy would wear, I think I commented. I was like, that's a Savy shirt. That's a Savy shirt.
Yeah, I'm definitely a very bright and colorful person.
Yes, you are. I love that.
Thank you.
All right, so everyone, I'm going to leave all of the links to Savy's social media channel and all of that good stuff. So y'all check it out. So, all right. And thank you so much again for being with us today. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me on.
You are welcome.
And to all of my listeners, have a great rest of the day and a great rest of the week.